Yeah, yeah. Skirt, skirt.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. You know it's Wednesday when you see me popping in your screens. It's your girl Lash Angela, and today I'm really excited because I have a lovely guest with me. We're gonna tackle some things, but I'll let him introduce himself first.
Hi guys, my name is Edgar. I am advocate for the Boychild, advocate for mental health, and an upcoming farmer.
Love it.
Yeah.
So obviously we've been talking about girl child and there's this thing, oh, we've forgotten the boy child. So, and I get that a lot. So I decided I'm gonna do a topic centered on boy child, and I also want to talk about mental health, but more importantly, living with anxiety, because that's something Edgar has a close connection with. But first, let's talk about the boy child, right? So there's this talk that we've forgotten the boy child, and that like we're not helping them anymore because everyone's just so focused on the girl child and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that the boy child can be helped?
Yes, I think the Boychild can be helped. They haven't, I wouldn't say forgotten per se, completely, because the conversation has started changing. And the way that has happened is a few programs, like there's My Enough,
Okay.
there's Voice.
But sorry, for those who don't know what Man Enough is, it's in Nairobi Chapel.
There's Nairobi Chapel, there's All Saints.
Okay,
there
so
are a bunch of centers.
it happens in churches.
Yes.
Okay.
Happens in churches, but it's not centered around like
Religion.
spirituality and religion. It's
Okay.
more social based.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they use a lot of social dynamics to talk about what the boy child goes through.
Okay.
And an effort, of course, to get the boy child to talk more
Okay.
about what they go through, and then be able to now use what they learn to maneuver,
To help them internally and
Yes.
everything. I was gonna ask, like, what's the age group for such programs?
Like Man Enough, I'd say the time I did it, which was in 2016, the youngest was 21,
Okay.
the eldest was 70.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so the
Damn.
age gap, the age group is not like centered in a specific one. It's not a specific one, it's across all ages.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were saying there was boys to men.
Boys to men is mostly between 13 to 17. So they
Okay.
get like, teenagers. So from early teenage ages all the way to 17.
Okay.
18. Yeah, so again, just preparing the boys, into what manhood is like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that we're like, okay, before I move on to just something that you've just said, what's manhood like? Question number one, which is a complete curveball, because you've just said that. What's manhood like? Like, what are some of the things? Because of you doing Man Enough.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you guys explore?
Okay. What we explore are, first we define who a man is.
And what is a man? Tell them.
Apart from obvious genital parts and deep voices and beards and all that, a man is just a human being who has emotions.
Emotions.
Yes.
Where are those emotions?
We have them inside us. We just find it very difficult to talk about them.
So those are, going back to now what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
So those are some of the, like, one of the challenges a boy child is struggling with, obviously, is opening up.
Yes.
What other challenges that you think, like, when you look back, and even to any young people that you relate with right now, what are some of the challenges that they go through?
Apart from that, we have affirmation. You have things like identity crisis.
Okay.
You have things like acknowledgement by their dads. So it's more like with validation. I put more like validation.
So
from
even
their
boys
dad.
have daddy issues.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We do have daddy issues. We have mommy issues as well. Because you have dynamics where some boys grow up in a single parent situation where the mom is the one who is the present parent. Yeah.
Okay. If you were to speak to a boy child who has like challenges, especially with emotions, because leading up to my next point about anxiety, one of the things that affects all types of human beings, regardless of what race, gender you are, age, is bottling up stuff. And more importantly, going back to what we know scientifically, the years of formation in terms of a child is 0 to 7 or 0 to 10. So certain things that happen along that part in people's lives tend to more often than not affect us, dictate who we become, and sometimes can even disable us in achieving. So before we go into living with anxiety, so for the boy child who, and from what you've learned from Man Enough, what are some of, like, what would you tell a boy child who's probably watching this and is trying to think, how do I unlock?
What age are you talking about?
Any, you've just said, like, you can be locked up in emotions even at 10. You can be locked up in emotions. Clearly you're saying you met someone who's 70 at Man Enough. So that means for 70 years he's been in prison governed by shit that he didn't need to carry along his life, and if he just found a way to let go.
To a boy who may be watching this, what I'd say is, how do I put it? It's okay to not be okay. We have situations where, I mean, you know, your boys, men, we're all emotional human beings, you know. And I think it's just because of culture that we get situations where we're told it's not right to show your emotions, or it's weak to show your emotions. That,
like in African and Asian culture, right?
Yes. And I'd say for sure that works against you. Because again, if you don't express your emotions, it catches up with you at some point in more complex situations, be it relationships, be it whether with intimate partners, with colleagues, with strangers even, you know, out on the street or wherever you meet them, you know. So it's okay not to be okay. It's good to express yourself. Find men who think like you. Find guys who have the same struggle. They're trying to find ways to express themselves. So now you gotta ask, how do I do it? Because it's easy for us to buy a booty and, you know, be in the club and talk about these emotions, but when we are sober, we tend not to. It's easy for us to go and talk to a lady friend, or most of a lady friend, not an intimate lady friend.
Okay.
You know, it's easier to go and talk to girls and tell them, yeah, you know, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, but I don't know how it changes when you're dating someone, where it becomes so hard
to tell.
Because
people are scared to be vulnerable.
People are scared to be vulnerable. And then one thing I also had in a podcast I was listening to earlier this week, men have the fear of being insufficient.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, that's either in terms of providing, in terms of emotional stability, be it material stability, name it. That fear of being insufficient. But the thing is, you can't be perfect.
Okay.
You know, so to the guys who are listening to this, you can't be perfect. It's something that you are just not created that way. So in the event that you go through something and you feel, you know, things are just not right, talk to someone about it. Call a friend, call friends, and just get the conversation started.
So Edgar has been open about dealing with anxiety, which is something I wish a lot of us could speak about. I don't know if you saw my Instagram post early this week. Like, I woke up on Monday, generally speaking, and I had a depressive day. Like, I couldn't get out of bed. I managed to get out of bed and move to the couch, but like the door was locked, it was dark. My friends are like, are we still meeting? I said, honestly speaking, I can't get out. And someone said to me, how did it feel? I said, honestly, it felt like I'd been buried alive, right? And every time I would try to feel better, I would feel like sadness is like, you know, tears are like, we need you to cry some more. We need you to focus on all the stuff that you feel is not working out,
Yes.
right? Or to focus on the things that are what I class as a half glass full, right?
Yes.
Rather a half glass empty. Actually, I was focusing on the side of the glass that's empty.
That's empty, not the one that's full.
Yeah. So I couldn't. I tried to read. I didn't even want to read. I didn't even want to like. I talked to my mom. She cheered me for a bit. As soon as she hung up, I found myself back
in
crying.
Yes.
And to the point I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sleep this off.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, girlfriend,
Yes.
you are gonna wake up and you're gonna find yourself some positivity.
Yes.
And I sat down and I wrote some affirmations
Ah.
that I'm gonna focus on for 6 months.
Oh, good.
And that I'll read daily, although I failed and I didn't read it today, but I'll read it before I go to bed.
Okay.
So and why I shared that post and expressed what I was feeling was just because I just thought, first I was scared to share it.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
I was gonna do it on Tuesday and I was like, nah, bro. Nah, I
Share
don't know
it
this
on
life.
social media.
And then I shared a picture and then I expressed what the situation was.
Ah.
So then I was like, no, okay, cool. So on Wednesday I was just like, you know what? Maybe someone needs to hear it. Maybe I went through that not because of me, but just to encourage someone that even me, who's the person that people call when they want to get positivity and cheering, I also have my bleak and upset moments, right?
Yes.
So I just thought, oh my God, there's someone who wakes up feeling like they are being buried alive
Yes.
and can't get out.
Yeah.
When did you discover that maybe you might be suffering from anxiety? What are the steps you took to get there?
First, I must commend you on sharing what you did. That's definitely, it takes courage to do such stuff. Most guys wouldn't bother saying anything, whether on social media or even to your friends. And that big up to you, where you can recognize you had a bad day and you told them that, yo, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Something to take home with you is don't fight the feeling.
That's what I like. Do you know
Don't
what?
fight the feeling.
I was like, today's gonna be those days.
Yes.
I just like, I'm gonna cry.
Yes.
I woke up looking like Puff Daddy.
Yes.
What?
Be in your feels, man.
Yeah, I did.
Be in your feels. That's the only way you get it out of your system. Because the more you try to fight it, you're trying to like distract yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer you, I think in 2015 is when I noticed that things weren't too good.
Okay.
There was a sudden change in my life. I just came back from the UK. I think it's December 2014, so we crossed over into the new year. I was in this fresh relationship, everything was good, and then things didn't turn out too well. But the relationship per se was not really the main issue. It just triggered a lot of things that I had pent up inside me.
Mm-hmm.
So now what happened was that I wasn't eating very well.
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping very well.
Yeah.
I was, it got up when my appetite was so bad, I'd only eat probably after like 2 days, and only when I'd puke bile is when I was eating. And then now my mind wouldn't stop racing. So and then there's now the overwhelming sadness that was overcoming me, and I didn't know how to control it. So I was in this mood for way over a month, and then I just went to my mom and I told her, man, I don't think I can do this. I need to talk to someone, and someone outside the family, which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you get a psychiatrist or a psychologist?
I first started with a psychologist.
Okay.
So yeah, when I got to, I talked to her, went through 2 sessions, did an assessment, and then after that assessment is the results. I think I got them in the 3rd session.
Mm-hmm.
Is when now she diagnosed me now with not just anxiety, but I had panic attacks, and I also had depression as well.
Okay.
Yes.
When you have panic attacks,
Yes.
do you like lose? What happens? You sweating? What's your symptoms?
My panic attacks are very interesting. All my life I've been used to imploding. Basically, I'm used to keeping everything inside me, and even when I'm...
Your champagne bottle.
Yes. So on the inside, I'm good. I mean, on the inside, I'm burning, I'm boiling. But as soon as that cork is popped, that's it. I erupt with a lot of emotions and stuff. So when I'm having a panic attack, my heartbeat is way too fast,
Yeah.
and then I have this feeling of like a lump inside my throat, and then I can't stop. I can't focus on anything. So on the outside, I look very composed like I do right now, but on the inside, I'm just a mess. So most times, I never knew how to express myself growing up, so I would never come to it. I never go to anyone and tell them, hey Lash, I'm having a panic attack right now, and it's because of this, so I don't know what's going on, and I just know I'm not feeling right. Other guys who I know have panic attacks, you'd find them breathing a bit too fast, but you can see it, like they're losing their breath, you know, and
or sweating,
or they're sweating, especially like around their neck and stuff, or down their back. But I don't have that. And then the other thing that I have is my chest gets really, really tight. So it's like someone is literally like squeezing it in,
which causes you to not breathe properly and
yes.
stuff. Okay. So for the symptoms that you've said,
Yes.
So there's someone who's listening to you and they're like, okay, I think I have that. So how would you say is the best way to manage your anxiety?
Yeah.
Because you said like you went and decided you're like, no, this is not normal.
Yes.
So you actually went and sprayed this, a family member
Yes.
who led you to, or rather you ended up seeking a place that you could get the right help.
Yes.
What are the things, the steps that you could advise someone to help manage anxiety or depression or panic attack or all three?
What I'd say is talk to someone about it. Be it a close friend, be it a close family member, talk to someone about it. And another thing you could do also is I really advocate for professional help. I really, really advocate for professional help. Reason being, it's very easy for us to go to a general practitioner for, you know, stomach pains, headaches, name it. But when it comes to this mental health stuff, I guess it's because the stigma, so guys would tend to, you know, keep to themselves. But there's help available. There are professionals who are out here to, you know, listen to you and definitely direct you in the right way so that you could, you know, get the help that you deserve, that you need.
Yeah.
You know, so seek therapy. There's really nothing wrong with therapy. It's not, you're not crazy to, you don't have to be crazy to seek therapy. There's nothing like that. It's if you just feel your mind is just not sitting right with you, man, there are guys who are there who will unpack all that stuff for you, because at that point you're not in that position to do
unpack,
it.
yeah.
So, you know, rather go to someone who will be able to unravel that stuff for you and make sense out of all of it. You know, and then now what would happen is that you learn, through those conversations, you learn what triggers your anxiety. Because your anxiety doesn't just come about. It's triggered by certain things, people, or situations.
Yeah.
You know, so when you get talking about such stuff, then you realize, oh yeah, this is what triggers my anxiety. This is what, and when I'm faced with this, is when I feel like my heart starts beating a bit too fast. It's when my mind starts racing. So you learn to now
act and not put yourself in situations that would lead you to feel
exactly
way.
Until you're mentally able to. So that
Manage
time,
yourself.
manage yourself. So because again, you know, life as it is very unpredictable. So you'll always be faced with random things at any given point in time, and sometimes
Like
you
death
of
being one of them.
Exactly, the inevitable that is death faces us at any given point in time. So being mentally capable to deal, you know, grieve but still live a normal sort of life is very important. So I mean, some people grieve, you know, way harder than others, which is normal. It's expected as well. So when you go through such stuff, don't get into the coping mechanisms of destructive behavior, which is either drinking, violence, sex, all that. Go, you know, take yourself in the right direction, which is talking to friends, talking to family members. If they don't understand you, go to a professional.
Yes.
And get their attention and tell them that, you know, you just need them to do what they need to do
to help you.
To help you, yes.
Okay. On the last point, people might. Actually, anyone who's around you knows that you've learned to cope with it, but you can get triggers that can, right? So how would you advise even anyone who's watching who knows that they have like people around them, loved ones around them who are dealing, like what are the 3 things that I should know if I'm around someone who suffers from anxiety, panic attacks, depression, mental health? Like what are the three key things that anyone around someone who suffers or can often have triggers as, what would you tell them? Like what are the 3 things they need to be aware of or they need to do?
One is create the room for these people to come and talk to you about what they're struggling. That is very important.
Yeah.
The moment you don't have that room, you don't create that room, they won't come to you. So when you have the worst case scenario, I wish they came and talked to me. But you also have to ask yourself, did you create the room for them to be able to come and talk to you?
Okay.
2, make what they are going through about them, not about yourself.
Okay.
That one you have to be very, very cautious about. You have to make sure it's about the person who's going through what they're going through.
So
because
listening
ideally
better.
it's listening better, understanding them better.
I had a new one,
try.
be a compassionate listener.
Yes.
Sometimes they're not talking to you because they want advice from you, they just need to let it out.
They need to let it out and they need to know that
It's
it's a very safe space for them to express themselves.
Okay.
Then the 3rd and most critical thing is don't judge. Because these people who are going through what they're going through, for sure, they will tell from a mile away that you're judging them. So that will skew what they're telling you. Either they'll be vague or they will not talk at all. They will not overshare.
Okay.
Chances are they'll either be mum or they will just be vague just to get that conversation over and done with and they move on with their lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll just add one more.
No
What
problem.
do you think we can do to help the boy child? Because some of the things you say, sometimes I see it in men and they perhaps don't. It's not necessarily that it's a mental health thing, it's just because of their environment and what you said earlier, where you feel inefficient or what are you guys doing, or what do you think that, how do we help the boy child elevate as much as we're helping the girl child? Because me, I'm also, I feel like we should not grow apart.
No, we shouldn't.
Yeah, because we've come from a generation, from a woman's perspective, where the man has grown and the woman is left behind, and now we're elevating, and it's just like, it's a seesaw. Can't we just all grow together and be happy, one big happy family?
We all just get along.
And can we all?
Man, okay, what I'd say is, I think men need to acknowledge that they are built with emotions. That there's no other way to look at it, that you're built with emotions. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Now, when you are facing these emotions because of certain people, things, or situations, talk to your friends. Don't just talk about the car that you want to buy, or the car that you're driving, or the building that you're going to invest, the building that you're going to buy, or the
babe that you want to
smash and all that, man. Despite all that, man, talk about, okay, if you're with a babe and you know, maybe one key thing. You're with a babe, let's say you're even dating, and you have what we call performance anxiety. I didn't throw that in. So you have performance anxiety. So basically, you know, you want, you know, you like imagined how it would be to, you know, have sex with this girl.
Yeah.
And then the time comes and you're literally just shitting bricks in your mind.
Yes.
As long as your mind is not right here, this will not work.
Yeah.
That's that given.
Okay.
So there's already that element of shame. But you want to cover it up by being macho. You know, so sometimes, you know what, despite the bullet, and talk to the baby and just tell her, I'm kind of panicking a bit. See how she handles you. If she's, you know, compassionate, she's understanding and very caring and kind, you get out of your mind.
I always imagine inefficiency was never about that. It was always about like money and looking at everyone else. But I guess it's everything around you. And then I guess it's more difficult for a boy in certain sense where it is expectant of you to be perfect and to be the achiever in every realm. And I think take home from this conversation is like every person is different.
Yes, they are.
Everyone deals with things differently.
Yes.
But not to assume that that we all don't have our low moments, and that it's okay
Yes.
to be okay, which is one of my favorite songs by Jessie J. And it's actually what elevated me on Monday, because I was like, it's just, I'm gonna not be okay, it's fine.
But it's fine.
Tomorrow,
You'll be better.
I'll be better.
Yeah. So this thing of men being perfectionists and stuff, man, screw all that. Put that to the side.
Just
because
be human.
Just be you, be human being, and just live your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It was so nice to have you.
Thanks for having me as well.
Thank you for being candid and bringing us into things that we don't necessarily always have a chance to know more about.
Anytime, man.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yes.
Yes.
All right then. Bye.